Hello everyone. Today we're going to be talking about decimal concepts and computation. Can someone tell me what the difference is between a rational number and an irrational number? I'm going to have you guys discuss with your partner, and please provide an example with your rational and irrational definitions. Okay everyone, we're going to come back together and we're going to discuss the difference between a rational and irrational number. Who can tell me what a rational number is? Awesome. A rational number is a whole number. What else can you tell me about a rational number? Great. A rational number is any number. What about an irrational number? What is an irrational number? Okay, so an irrational number is a number that has a decimal that is non-repeating. Great job. Who can give me a definition or an example of a rational number? Awesome. So, since we're talking about decimals, a decimal that would be a rational number could be any number. It could be 0.26. It could be a fraction. Who can give me an example of an irrational number? Awesome. Pi. Alright, so we're going to go over the definitions. So rational numbers include integers, repeating decimals, terminating decimals, ratios, and proportions, also known as fractions. An example of each one of these is the number 1, which is an integer or whole number. Repeating decimals, 0.33333, which is repeating. Terminating decimals, 3.12, or 3 1200ths, or ratios and proportions, which could be 3/10, 6/10, any fraction. Irrational numbers include, they cannot be written as a ratio, so they can't be written as a fraction. And they have an infinite non-repeating decimal. So as we discussed before, pi is a 3.14 non-repeating decimal that goes on infinitely, along with the square root of 2. Now that we have this discussed, we can go on and discuss, can repeating decimals be written as a fraction? I'm going to have you guys think about it for a couple of seconds and think of a fraction and a decimal that repeats. Awesome. So the one fraction and decimal that we discussed was the repeating 3.3333. And the fraction that goes along with it is 1/3. Somebody else said 3/9. So if we look at 3/9 and 1/3, they're equivalent because 1/3 is equal to 3/9 because it's 3 times the amount of 1/3. Alright, so who can tell me why we have the base 10 grid paper today? Awesome, we're going to be using the base 10 grid paper to visualize how we can map out fractions and decimals and how they're all equivalent. This will give you guys an example of what shading looks like and how it visualizes a fraction. So this is out of hundreds. So we're going to go over an example problem, and you'll be able to see how exactly you're going to do this on your own. So this is how we're going to write a rational number as a fraction, a decimal, and a base 10 model. So an example, there's 82 out of 100. So if we look to our right, we see the base 10 grid paper. Things that are shaded, there are 82 squares out of 100 shaded, which shows 82 out of 100 have been used. We also have the form of a fraction, so 82/100. And then we also have the form of a decimal. It's 82/100ths or 0.82. All of these, as we can see, show the same exact equivalency, but are just written in different ways and visualized differently. The base 10 grid gives you an idea of how it will look if you were to map it out. So we're going to go back to our base 10 grid. You guys all have your own separate grids, paper, and we're going to work on our own problems. You guys are going to have your own worksheets. Each worksheet is based on your learning. If you want to challenge yourself, you can go above to the next worksheet. So I will go over the worksheets with you guys. So the first worksheet goes over fractions in the tens place. So as we can see, the first model is a box of 10 squares. And you can see that 2 of the squares are shaded in. So the fraction would be 2/10. And then the decimal would be 2/10. Now if you guys wanted to take this a step further, you can also make the fraction and simplify it. But as you can see, all of the models on the left-hand side have shadings, and you guys have to put in the fraction and the decimal. And if you want to get crazy, you can do the equivalent fraction and simplify it. So the next worksheet, you guys are going to be working with the hundredths place, and you guys are going to write the fraction, the decimal, and the percent. So this is going to take you another step further, but as we know, percents are equal to decimals. We just have to move the decimal point 2 places over to the right. Again, the boxes are shaded in, and you guys have to write the fraction, decimal, and percent. And the last worksheet here is going to have no visualization. However, you guys do have your grid paper to use, and you're also going to figure out the ratio. So as we talked before, a ratio is the numerator over the denominator, written horizontally. It's a 1:9 ratio. As we can see, the fraction is 1/9, or 1/9. So that's easy to figure out. We just have to look at the example. You guys can use your grid papers and go forward with that. And then you guys are going to turn this in at the end of class or for homework the next day. And then we'll discuss on further lessons from this point forward. Have a great day, guys.